All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying safe. And most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. We're just going to check whether all the audio is working and all that good stuff. So please bear with us. There we go. It's working, as you can see. As you hear my voice sound off myself. Anyway, we're working on some Liberators tonight. Hope you're all doing fine and dandy wherever you are. Yeah. So we've been painting up a storm with Liberators lately. Slowly getting these 60 of them done for an army I'm taking to SAGT. So we are working our way through all the different parts that are gold on the models at the moment. If you're joining us in chat, let us know what hobby you've been working on lately or what you plan to be working on. Love to hear from you all. And this would be the first one we've done since we hit the nice big old 2,000 subscribers on the YouTubes as well, which we've well and truly pushed past now. I think we hit 2,300 not too long ago. So it's just a matter of picking out all the gold. So we're going through bit by bit because otherwise it becomes really monotonous if you're stuck on one model for ages. So what I try and do is I've done one bit of gold, gone through, done the next bit of gold, gone through, done the next bit of gold, gone through, done a different thing of gold. And so at the moment, I'm picking out all the shoulder panels and all the shoulder decal and the knee pad. And I've just got to go back and do a couple of little other bits of gold, and then the gold can all get washed at the same time. But so how's everyone been anyway? Anyone who's watching, how have you been? It's been a long time since I streamed on anything really. It's been a busy past few couple of weeks. So we've uploaded all the content like we normally do, but streaming has been hit, I guess, a bit lately. But I want to get back to doing it more and more. I enjoy coming on and chatting to people. And so yeah, as I said, we're just working on these Liberators. I think we had a poll up on what I'm going to be working on after these, and I think a Living City of Sigma army was the popular vote, followed closely by Lumineth. So they'll probably be my next couple of projects. Smash them out. And hello, Manuel. Greetings from Australia, mate. Couldn't have said that any more Aussie if I tried. Hope you're doing well, and hope it be what midday-ish in Germany or early morning. Nah, probably more early morning in like Europe at the moment. I would say. So, good morning to you, or should I say Guten Tag? I know some German. Or no, Guten Tag is goodbye. Guten Morgen. Is that correct? It was a long time ago that I had German class. Been a long time. Oh, nice, awesome. I apologize if we have spoken before. There are lots of people on the internet, and I always get I am terrible with names and memory. I have to write down my own paint schemes so that I don't forget them. What hobby is everyone working on lately? What has everyone been hobbying on? What have you been doing hobby-wise? painting up some models? Have you bought something new lately? But yeah, so we're just slowly working on Liberators. Getting there with them. Oh, nice. I'm glad you found the content helpful, mate. Only here to help other people. My whole thing with everything on the channel is to get more people into the game and give people getting into the game some easy thoughts. Like, I don't claim to be anything of a competitive player. I mean, I like to try and win games, but I am far from any top tier competitive player. I just like easy ways to get into the game. Anything I can do to make someone else's life easier getting into the hobby is a good thing by me. So that's the idea of all those videos. They're not meant to be some exclusive list or anything. They're supposed to be just some thoughts on some ways to get into things. I will say this is like the first time I've streamed in a while. A good few weeks, almost probably a month. I think it's come up to since I've done a stream. Maybe even longer, to be honest. I dropped off a bit. Just busy with life and stuff, unfortunately. And hello to anyone watching. If you are, say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what hobby you've been up to lately. There's a lot of liberators to do. 60 of them. But yeah, so we're slowly slogging through them all. Once the gold's done, it's like the majority of the models are done. Once these two colors are down, so the blue's already done, gold will be done next. And so once we got that, it's like the two major things done. So it's just picking out all the little details, browns and whites on the shield, which is probably the next largest bit. Once we got the white on the shield, that will really start to look the finished part at least. And then after this, I've got some Gryph-hounds, a couple of characters, 10 Free Guild Guard, and the K-Knight Shadowstalkers to do. And then that's my 2,000 point army done. We're going to take that army to SAGT, which is a grand tournament happening here in South Australia in about a month. I know I'll be playing Clint from the Herod's War podcast in my first game. Morning, Timothy from sunny England. I'm not sure if you're joking or not. Knowing I'm a big football fan and knowing that a few of the games have been snowed out in particular parts of England. So I assume you're maybe not in London, which has been a bit frosty lately, from what I know. Or maybe it's gotten a bit better now. But, I got to witness one of the awesome football game things of seeing a snow game, which is always cool. I mean, Crimson Fists are cool. I've got Primaris Marine Army that I've got to get painting. I'm going to be doing Emperor Spears for the army. Really love that book. Although we say Crimson Fists are cool, I always liked them ever since I read Hell's Reach, not Hell's Reach, wrong book. Rin's World, that's the one. Ever since I read Rin's World, I'm hooked on Crimson Fists. I thought they were one of the coolest chapters of Space Marines out there. I think it's probably one of the best Space Marine battle novels I've read. City steam tanks. I have a steam tank that I need to get painted eventually at some point. Would like the ability to run the all steam tank list at some point. I think that'd be a fun thing to run on the table. What particular Primaris Marines are you working on? I've got an Indominus set there that needs to be built and painted up. I was like, oh, I'll get into new 40k, and Indominus still is sitting there, unpainted, unbuilt even. But we'll get there. Oh, True Revenants. That would be awesome. I really do like the Sylvaneth. I'm an old Wood Elf player from back in fantasy days. So Sylvaneth has a special place. Yeah, I'm painting Stormcast Bongo. Nice to see you there, mate. Painting up those Stormcast. You've seen a couple battle reps on the channel that definitely need some paint on them. Dan, nice to see you there, mate. Dan, for those who don't know, or 9-inch Charge Dan, as he's known on Twitter, is a lovely fellow who did the Misthaven show with me on the channel. So we had a good chat about all things Misthaven. Oh, nice. I do remember that upgrade kit, Timothy. It is a really cool set. I remember the Power Fist that comes in it. No, it's not. We're only faithful. Not for my ones anyway. The Defenders of Sigma are my storm host of my own creation. And their mighty battle cry, and we do not yield, is their battle cry. Resolute defenders of the mortal realms. Storm host, and we're let anyone watching in a secret. We're going to have a cool narrative campaign where we follow my storm host in the Realm Gate Wars. So we're going to do some cool narrative campaign stuff on the channel featuring my storm host during the Realm Gate Wars and telling a story of how they came to be. Yeah, Liberators are awesome, man. Like they're in a good place. And so be interesting because like we're currently working on some narrative rules for my own Storm host. I think what we've gone for is that the entire the entire Storm host reroll ones to save, and then anything that already has Sigmarite shields can just reroll saves. Oh, sorry, reroll saves of 1 and 2. But yeah, it seems everyone has voted that I'll be going down your route. So Dan with a Living City. Yeah, I'm working my way through all the different gold parts. So anyone watching, that's what they will end up being. So that's what we're going for in the end. We've got 4 of them done that were nice little test models. So they've 56 to do. Yeah, I think the white shield just breaks up just that bit of monotony that the color has otherwise. The color scheme is very, blue and gold. It's very, very dominated by those two colors, and I think just breaks it up just that little bit. But yeah, I'm rather happy. What started out as a bit of a piss take would be the way to describe it. So when Stormcast first came out, obviously had everyone going, "Oh, Sigmarines and Ground Marines and all the things talking about Stormcast." All those nasty things people were saying, some warranted. Like I get the similarities, I get the idea, get the thought behind the similarities between them. But I'm like, well, what color scheme is going to annoy people the most? And I'm like, I'm going to paint them up like a Space Marine chapter just to push into that Sigmarine hatred almost originally. And so I painted Ultramarines. I'm like, well, what one's going to annoy? It was a toss-up between Ultramarines, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, and Blood Angels. And in the end, I went for Ultramarines. Mainly because people don't like Ultramarines anyway. So Ultramarine Stormcast are going to be twice as hated. Most people don't really care nowadays, but early on, it was definitely something to rustle a few jimmies with. There's actually a Space Wolf painted army. I've seen one done. There was I forget the dude's name now. I feel really bad. It actually is a dude who has a Space Wolf painted Stormcast army going around Australia at the moment. It is true. The Chaos Warrior was first originated in Hero Quest, and that model, obviously, well, the Chaos Warriors from there obviously inspired Chaos Warriors in general in Warhammer Fantasy, which then inspired the Space Marine, which is probably inspired Stormcast. In all honesty, like you can see the similarities are there, and it's not bad that something is inspired by something. Everything draws inspiration from something. But yeah. Yeah, I love Stormcast. I think the lore of them is really cool. I love the like losing their humanity, and it's something they try to hold on to. And like different, yeah, everything's inspired by something else. I mean, Warhammer Fantasy is literally inspired by Tolkien, by Lord of the Rings. Like, there's so much Tolkien in Warhammer Fantasy, and Age of Sigmar quite clearly draws a bit of inspiration from uh, Asgardian mythology, and but yeah. Yeah, but not all of them lose themselves. There are some that become more. The Black Talon novel is a really great one at showing that like she actually becomes more and more. She's actually getting better and better and remembering more and more each time. So it's not always that they lose themselves, because it is generally only those that break or upon the anvil that actually lose themselves. Knights Excelsior. Oh, they're the white ones. They Yeah, they see themselves as not human. They're actually almost very like Space Marine in how they see themselves, like they're above humanity. You have ones like the Hallowed. So I'm pretty sure the Knights Excelsior are the one. Sorry, yeah, the Knights Excelsior are the ones who forbid talking about their past and stuff. While you have ones like the Hallowed Knights who actually want to know as much, like record as much as possible about their past life, and actually like note it down so that it's not forgotten. They're the ones that are effectively like Inquisition. Um, oh, we've cleansed the story that reminds me. We've cleansed this area of taints, my lord. No, we haven't, not yet. And they go on to slaughter the entire town, just because it might be some corruption left. Wanderers are decent. I'm currently building up a Wanderers force for Cities of Sigmar, so you might see some stuff on the channel soon, Manuel. Um, I think they've got some play in what the Wanderers can do. I love Wanderers. Like being an old Wood player, I have a big fondness for the Wanderers, so I'll make them work. I am a big fan of Eternal Guard in a lot of different lists, though. I like Eternal Guard a lot. Yeah, like I get they lost a bit. I'm hopeful that Kurnothi get a full release because that for me, that's where the Wanderers have gone. I think that's the replacement army for them, and like I'm fine with that. Arnold, good morning, mate. Yeah, pretty like it's not 100% confirmed, but I'm pretty sure that is a Kurnothi. I pointed out some bits in the reveal trailer that I was talking about, pointing out characters and stuff in that. So, I'm pretty sure that's a Kurnothi. Of which I've got to finish my Warband Kurnothi and paint them up. I painted 2 up really, really well, and I've got to finish the rest of them. But I picked up a really cool model to paint and probably use in some games. So I picked up Kaon the other day, and I cannot wait to get him on the paint table. He is going to be a super fun project. Arnold, no. I don't generally use inks. Yeah, sorry, Arnold. My painting is very basic. I do stick to GW paints, and I'll explain my reasoning. So, my reasoning why I use the paints I do is easy access. Where I am in South Australia, I have maybe my local GW is actually quite far away, but my local game store only stocks GW paints. They're a hobby shop, they're a game store rather than a hobby shop, if that makes sense. And for me, as I am pretty seriously colorblind, yeah, for me, I'm pretty badly colorblind, and GW do a really good job of actually making things easier for someone to understand how to paint while quite color. I don't know. Like I've heard people pronounce it both ways, either Archeon or Archeon. To me, I say it Archeon because otherwise it would be AE in the middle of it, I think. Yeah. Apologies. There are a couple of good painters in the Discord, though, that do go into inks and stuff. I would definitely give them a shout. And if you definitely have any painting questions, go check out Vince Ventrella from Warhammer Weekly. He will steer you in the right direction with any painting tips. Yeah, if you're watching us, let us know what hobby you're up to, what you've been working on. We're slowly making our way through all these liberators. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am a very basic painter. So the hope is to have these done by the end of this week coming. And that'll leave me 3 weeks to finish off the other bits and pieces for the army. Well, you finished everything you had, Bongo. Oop, I actually dropped my paintbrush. Finished everything you have. Well, that sounds like you need to get something more. I wish I had finished all my painting. But as you can see, there's a giant pile of grey behind me, and even up and down and there, and more there, and more everywhere. I'll get it painted in a week. These 60 libs will be done this week. I guarantee that. Or very, very nearly. But then the last 3 weeks, that'll give me time. I've got a couple of Griffhounds. I've got 2 Castellans, a Veritant. I've got about 10, 12 Griffhounds to paint. The Eighth Wings are done. And then 10 Free Good Guard and the Canite Shadowstalkers. Oh, nice, Paul. Clan Rats. I have a pile of unpainted Skaven under there. I'll find the Skaven model that I painted. Here we go. This is my Skaven scheme. Arch Warlock that I did up. My Skaven. I've got to get him an army. I've already painted him. Cheers. Yeah. He needs an army. He's painting my Skaven Blood Bowl team in the same color. I've got to go back and finish them as well. Oh. The good thing about painting Clan Rats is you can put all your base colors down and apply just one wash of Agrax over the whole model. So that's generally what I do. Except I'm silly and didn't do that. With the blue armor, that blue armor actually has no washes, just highlighting. So, yeah, I made a mistake with that. But they'll look amazing when they're done. Really do need to get painting some Skaven. They were actually my first army. So Wood Elves were my first models, but Skaven were my first army in Warhammer. So. Hey, Wolf Paws, nice to see you there, mate. Hope you're having a good night as well. Yeah, no, that's a good strategy. And then what you can do from that is dry brush your fur and dry brush your skin as well. So to give you this nice same undertone for both colors, but you can dry brush over the skin parts with a skin color, and then dry brush on the fur with a lighter brown than whatever you spray with. Um, and that'll give you a nice solid base to work from and pick out the like your metallics in your cloth. So yeah, what are people's thoughts on all the latest releases or the latest reveals and stuff that we've had? I haven't really done a stream since we've got everything, all the latest reveals. Glad to be of help there, Paul. Yeah, it'll definitely save you some time. You can apply a wash and then re-dry brush the same colors, and it'll work nicely to get the majority of your work done. And when you do your wash, you can even put your armor and your cloth color down. If you're doing something like a red or a green, brown washes them really well. So you could do like all your armor and all your cloth if you do red or green, and then a brown wash over the whole model, and then pick out your colors again, and you'll find it just saves you a lot of time. Um, yeah, I cannot wait for Broken Realms Techless. More Lumineth for one thing. I'm a big fan of the Lumineth models. And well, as an Aussie, I'm partial to Kangaroo Cavalry. Um, that sucks, Bongo. That's fair, Wolf Wars. Vampires are certainly like a death army I think I can get right behind. Though I have been enjoying painting the Aussie Arc Bone Reapers. They've been really fun to paint. So we'll get some more of them going. Got 20 more tech painted up. So now we need to finish up Vokmordian and then probably get some big dudes around him. And we'll have a decent little Bone Reaper army to be playing around with. Would be nice. But yeah, the elves, I'll definitely be adding more of my Lumineth. I need to get painting them. That's fine, Manuel. Like, no one has to like them or whatever. Everyone has their thing, and I completely get why some people don't like them. Sometimes repainting stuff's a good idea, Bongo. Sometimes you've improved as a painter since you last painted those models and you wish to repaint it. I'm repainting a bunch of my Stormcast, actually. A bunch of these Liberators were painted. You can actually see some of them have basing on them already. So they were completely painted. But I've improved, I've refined techniques I used when I paint, and now I feel like I can do a much better job. Yeah, no, that's exactly the right thing. I will not. There are armies that I don't personally like, but I enjoy playing against them, and I hope whoever has them enjoys them. Give me a sec. I'll find one of my Stormcast that I've actually based, and yeah, I'm doing Shattered Dominion bases with some Tufts from Shadow's Edge miniatures. Give me a sec. I will go get a Stormcast that's finished. It's not wanting to take the coffee. Oh, Badger Nun. Hi there, mate. I'm torn between Ogres and Ironeth. Anyway, for Dan, this is what my basing looks like. Shattered Dominion bases, and then that's a fully painted Stormcast there. These little tufts here, little flower tufts come from Shadow's Edge, so I've done like Realm of Life themed Stormcast. So yeah, Badger Nun. So why are they the two armies that you were torn between starting out in Age of Sigmar with? What's attracted you to those two armies in particular? Yeah, Dan, I think there's a ton you can do with Shattered Dominion bases. Literally did mine to match the table that I play on. So you've seen the bat reps, you've seen what my table looks like. The green that goes on some of them is the same green that you'll see there. And Manuel, I don't think all mirror matches are boring. I think some are boring. I can definitely see that. I think some are interesting as well. It depends if it's like a true mirror match. All right, cool. So you're coming from 40k. See, that gives me like a better idea of where I would suggest to go. So if you've definitely got wargaming experience, it knocks out some of the issues. But I don't think Ironeth are a bad army to start with. I would say Ogres are one of the best armies to start with in Age of Sigmar if you're coming into wargaming for the first time. But Ironeth, I think the issues with Ironeth, not so much as bad as they used to be. Turtles and Sharks are definitely a solid choice now, along with Eels, which have always been the go-to thing. I think the only things that really lack in Ironeth now are the the basic troops, unfortunately. But ogres, you can get a cheap army. You can buy 4-star collecting boxes, and that's a 2K army that's not only cheap but actually competitive as well. Yep, no, completely agree. Base size and reach is the problem with the money, and even range of their bows is the issue. Oh, nice. I'm glad, Badger. I'm happy that they've helped. Like my whole channel is based around helping people get into the game. That's the one thing, and if I can help someone get into the game, my channel's done its job. That's the goal. So I'm glad it's helped out. Ogre's a great army to start with. Ideneth R2, like I've been painting up some Ideneth behind me. There's my Ideneth that I've been painting up. The Morphan Enclave, which is the Realm of Death one. No worries, Arnold. Enjoy lunch, mate. And while you're here watching, everyone just drop a like if you would mind. All that stuff helps everyone find the channel more and more. More likes and all that sort of stuff. It helps people find the channel and come join us having a bit of fun and a chat. And if you're not subscribed, you should do that as well. That definitely helps people find the channel more. Anyway, enough of Luke the promoter. Arnold, thank you so much, mate, for the little donation there. That is very much appreciated, mate. Thank you. Small things like that make my day. Be interesting to know what you're having for lunch as well, buddy. Because I love a good bit of German food. We have a really nice German restaurant near me where I'm from, called the Bavarian. Very German sounding name of a restaurant. It's quite nice. Enjoy the pork belly with sauerkraut. It's good. Oh, yeah. Netherlands. Wrong one. I apologize. Now I feel terrible that you donated. I can't even remember where you're from. That's because there is someone who jumps on stream with a name also similar to yours that is from Germany. No worries, Arnold. Catch you later, mate. I don't drink. I'm a weird Australian that does not drink at all. I used to drink quite a lot, and I do not anymore. I asked myself one day the question of, do I really enjoy alcohol that much more than a can of Coke when I'm out? And the answer was no. And ever since that question, I've asked myself, I haven't drank. I'm looking at what a frickin' down is, or however that's pronounced. I probably butchered that name terribly. But that looks pretty good to me. Um, yeah, no, I'm looking at what that is. It's like some sort of like minced meat hot dog. Um, that looks yum. That looks delicious. Yeah, my problem was my go-to drink used to be rum, and yeah, that can get a yeah. No, it looks nice, almost like a hey Bongo, nice to see that you're back, buddy. It's almost like I guess it'd be like almost like a sausage roll without the pastry. Really, is what I'm like thinking. For those who don't know, I am a chef by trade, so food really interests me. So if you've got cool food from around the world, so I've created my own skiing wolf paws. I am painting the defenders of Sigma, which is my own storm host. And so they fought in the Realm Gate Wars particularly in the Realm of Life, on the Peninsula of Thorns, which now houses a free city called Hallowforge, which is this free city I play, which is my own custom free city that I have. And Hallowforge now has a Stormkeep from them that sits in the middle. Yeah, as I was saying before, we're actually looking at doing some cool narrative campaign stuff on the channel with my Storm host, focusing on their battles during the Realmgate Wars. And like, I have an idea of how things certainly went, but we'll play out some campaigns and we'll actually see how these games go, and sort of build up some of the lore for my Storm host. Oh, snow outside. Yeah, I have heard it has been snowing in England. I was saying before. So the main enemy for my free city will actually be Zinch. So the whole idea of the area of the realm of life that I'm in is actually Zinch has tried to. Zinch and Nurgle don't get along in the lore. They're the two gods that are like directly opposed. So Zinch has actually tried to take something off Nurgle. So it's actually you actually maybe even see some prequel stuff to the Realmgate Wars of Zinch versus Nurgle, as Zinch comes in and takes a whole bunch of like territory off Nurgle in this, trying to find a storm vault that are actually hidden underneath the vaults of underneath parts of the storm, the Thorn Peninsula. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of story to tell there. So we may see some Noggle, but not initially. It'll mostly be Zinch versus Stormcast. Yeah, it would seem so with what it's been looking like in England. The Everwinter certainly hit. I was watching the football the other day, and quite clearly, it was actually watched a snow game, which was really cool. They're always fun to watch. Oh, nice. Southwest. So southwest would be like near Wales, yeah. Unless I'm... So is Brighton southwest, or is that south? Is that more to the east? Can never remember where Brighton is on my UK. My geography is England is entirely based on my footballing knowledge. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Brighton's on the other side. Brighton's over towards like the European coast, isn't it? Hey Jerome, nice to see you there, mate. Oh, nice. You got your free day minute. I am painting up Liberators. Lots and lots and lots of Liberators. Oh, nice, Bongo. Homebrew D&D campaign. That's awesome. I am a big D&D fan. As many will know, I'm also one of the playtesters for Soulbound, which you can see the awesome limited edition book up there. That is a fantastic book. So you're the so southwest is like Cornwall and all that. Okay. See, there's a reason I don't know it, because if it doesn't have good football teams, like Dan said, I don't know it. Hey Nate, nice to see you there, man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Like, yeah, I mean, we can't even say like southwest. I know southwest is like Wales area. Like you start going over into Wales, obviously, eventually at that point. But like, not even they've got a good team at the moment, because both Cardiff and Swansea aren't even in the Premier League. Yep. No, Wolf Paws, like the entire thing is to build up those little gritty details of the campaign. Is like find out those things, like how many times has the Lord Celestin of the Indomitable's chamber been reforged, and like find out all those stories and build all upon that. So I don't know everything that's going to happen. I have a rough idea of what my narrative is and where I want to end up, because obviously, like, Halo Forge exists at the end of this, so the Stormcast are going to win at the end. but I don't know how they're going to win and what the cost of that win will be, if that makes sense. Like, and that's the interesting part to me about the campaign. Halo Forge exists in the end, like that's not going to change, but how does it exist? Why does it exist? And what is the cost to the Stormcast for it to exist? And that for me is like where narrative can be exciting, because it's like, yeah, we know where the outcome goes, but it's this story along the way that can make it exciting for people and for me. So yeah, definitely we'll be keeping a tally of reforges and like how models get affected. All right. So your own. So the Charybdis. First of all, I love it mainly because it's Scourge Privateers, but it's a cool looking model. So let's carry it. So the Charybdis, Greek mythology. So playtester, I was just a very vocal person on one of the Discord servers that Emmett actually happened to be a part of, and I actually also met and chatted to Emmett through, because I run the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Facebook page. Like, he messaged me and asked if it was all right to promote, obviously, Soulbound and stuff through it, and I agreed. And our communication sort of started from there, and like I just got asked out of the blue one day, just because I was being vocal about it and vocal about how much I wanted it. In a bunch of different servers, and I guess they just saw my passion for it, and I got to become a playtester. Um, anyway, back to what Jerome said. So the Charybdis, Charybdis or Charybdis, however you want to say it, is a sea monster and once a beautiful Ned and the daughter of Poseidon and Gaia. So Poseidon and Gaia. And so there's actually a really cool song by Bandolite called Trivium that have a song talking about torn between Scylla and Charybdis, or Charybdis, or however you want to say it, or spell it and pronounce it. And so it's effectively Scylla is this beautiful maiden, and Charybdis is this huge mouthed thing in a whirlpool. And so it's sort of the doom of like picking like this beautiful maiden. Scylla actually draws you to Charybdis. Anyway, off from all the mythology, I like Greek mythology, and so that sort of adds into why I like it. But I also like the Scourge Privateers, and I really like the model. I think the model's a much cooler looking model than the Hydra alternative, despite owning 6 Hydras. So I think what's bad about the War Scroll is they do no damage at all. Like, they are both horrendously bad in combat. The Charybdis has the luck that it can actually be a buff, a debuff piece with the bravery debuff at -3 that actually becomes something your opponent has to worry about. So comparison to the Hydra actually does more damage and has better buffs. The +1 to wound really helps a lot more than the +1 attack does, because the Charybdis is, well, I guess +1 attack doesn't actually help that much when it's not getting plus to the hit and stuff like that. So the +1 to wound actually makes the damage a lot more. Plus the Hydra also has a shooting attack. And just in general, works better combined with the character. The Charybdis is much more of a support piece. I would only ever run one. I think the other thing with the Charybdis, though, is it is a 4-up save. It can get thrown around the table. 4-up save, monster with 12 wounds. it's not going to go destroy anything or hold up anything nasty, but it can hold up and hack away at some chaff and stuff like that. But it's a cool model, and I think, I wouldn't take a Charybdis out anywhere outside of Amberguard. I think the Hydra has some places in like Misthaven. If you're wanting that small monster, the Hydra is definitely the one to go and say, yeah, it's a decent lore model. That's probably a good idea of what the Hydra is. The Hydra definitely will be able to take out like cheap chaff units. If your opponent's got like, 10 of something sitting on an objective or 5 of something on an objective, a Hydra will probably take them. Obviously, excluding if they're, like an elite troop or something like that that's got some benefits. The Hydra probably won't. But with shooting attack as well, put through an extra wound or 2 with that. And the Hydra's heal is just better than the Charybdis's as well. Yeah, the Charybdis is like the Cygor, the Hydra is like the Gorgon. We'll go with that. And Soulbound Bongo is the Age of Sigmar role-playing game. So Age of Sigmar D&D. That's the easiest way to put it. Produced by a company called Cubicle 7. Total Warhammer 3. So I will say this, I'm not big on computer games at all. But I can appreciate that trailer a lot for what it shows in the old one. Total War is that little bit, I don't know, it's not my style of RTS. And yeah, I'm just not big on computer games. Much more of a console person. I mostly play my portable console, which is my Switch, for ease. Yeah, don't play it, but that trailer was awesome. What I would like to see is maybe Games Workshop looking into doing more trailers like that for actual Warhammer products. Like that thing we got for... No, the Charybdis doesn't straight up eat magic. Damonets for mine, I just did very bright bone. I would feel they would have very clean looking teeth. Is how I imagine them. Very different opinion to mine, Bongo, but I can see where that works. Actually, I like that oily black. I like the idea behind the oily black there, Bongo. I like the idea of like them being these beautiful-ish creatures, and all of a sudden they smile at you, and there's just this horrific looking grin. I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, Jerome, I can see where you're going from as well. So there's some gold stuff I'm not gonna do now on these particular models, mainly because I want to hit other colors on them first. So I'm going to do the other color parts first, then come back to the golds on top of that. So I'm just currently looking. There's a few of them that have little. A few of them that have little bits on their wrists. Might do a spot. What's your friend playing as in D&D, Bongo? It's the entire injuries hammer there. On this one. Oops. A goblin, a rogue, highwayman. Oh, nice. Um, I'm pretty basic when it comes to D&D. I normally always play like an elf ranger, mainly because I'm one of those people that is always DM. So I like just playing a generic character when I always enjoy just playing a generic elf. So um, so yeah, slowly getting all these done. All my greaves getting done. Love the name there, Bongo. But yeah, we'll finish up this little bit and we'll probably have to wrap it up here. I have work again tomorrow, but we'll probably be back with another stream, maybe tomorrow night. Or if not, we'll be back someday. We'll be finishing this up. Happy with the amount of progress we've made tonight. But no worries, Dan. You've been working on some Stormcast as well tonight? Or this morning, I assume. And like, yeah. Why did you hate them before, Jerome? I'm enjoying Stormcast a lot more now that Storm keeps them come out. I think they offer them a very different way of playing. They actually play like how I feel Stormcast should play. They're extremely defensive. And just very hard to remove off the table, which I think is exactly how Stormcast should be. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of airbrushing. It's weird. I don't like personally. I'm not that great a painter anyway. I'll go with that. I am decent, probably above tabletop standard painter. But for me, an airbrush is just money I'm not willing to invest, and I don't get the enjoyment either. Something about painting with a brush that's nice, and also the look of model gets like I like the scratchy look you can get from a brush. I don't like the well blended colors on models. Yeah, and they're loud, and that's just annoying to me. There's no noise in my room at the moment. I like my peace and quiet of my hobby space. I seem to have missed the top of a couple of shields here. We'll go back and do them before we finish up tonight. That's fair, Dan. Can totally see that. I think my biggest thing with not painting with a gun is I don't want to have to do the maintenance to it. I don't want to. With two young children myself, the time it takes to clean a gun and all that sort of stuff, it's just not time I want to have to spare. I mostly paint at night as well, usually quite late at night. Like it's almost 10 o'clock here. So noise definitely becomes an issue for me. If I had that thing going now and I woke up the children, I would not have a happy wife. Yeah, I personally get much more enjoyment just painting with a brush than a. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other reasons why I just don't use an airbrush. I use spray cans and all that to get my base color down, and I'll just work from there. To me, like I'm not even interested in zenithal highlighting anything. Um, being colorblind, I can't tell anyway, so I don't care. Oh, cool thing when you're building liberators, you can totally convert up more grand hammers out of a box, so that you can combine these with the starter set liberators to get grand hammers that are cheap. So every grand sword that comes in the box, you can easily convert up into a hammer like this. All I did is cut up, put a little bit of a pommel there and a hammerhead from a spare model. This one happens to be from a spare Lord Celestin kit. I've used Retributor hammers on some of the others, or grand hammers from uh, prosecutor kits. Um, and then you just find a bit of a pommel and stick that down the bottom. And then, bam, that's your extra. You get an extra 2 grand hammers from every box, which means you can purchase starter set minis at a cheaper rate. Yeah, man. I will send you some pictures after. Yeah, it'll save you a bunch of money because then you can just go buy like the cheaper old. You can find some old liberators cheaper and just add a few extra grand hammers to your model. You get 4 out of a box, so it'll just cheapen up your models for you a bit. Yeah, so you should get in a box of 10, you get 2 grand blades and 2 grand hammers. The only thing I would suggest, build up a new prime of grand hammer, because like the only issue is you get in the starter set stuff, you get liberator primes without grand hammers, and you want to sort of give him the grand hammer. I mean, it's not too bad if you lose that one attack with grand hammer, it's not the worst, but generally you want to, in the most competitive way, is get that extra attack out of the prime with the grand hammer. But so that's the only issue you'll ever have, is you may have a few liberators that become redundant, but you can easily convert him up as well. But yeah, if you've got some spare hammers from like other kits, like you get hammers that you should probably have spare from prosecutor kits from Dracothian Guard, are the 2 main places to get them, and Paladins are the 3 main places you get extra hammers. Or even just converting a normal Liberator's hammer onto a 2-handed thing will work all the same. It's a 2-handed hammer at that point. Just get those few extra hammers, because hammers are by far better than swords, especially because Stormcast have a whole host of access to +1 to hit. I think it's there's only one particular storm host that gets the benefits from having like sword weapons, isn't it? So that's the only one I would ever recommend having blade weapons with on your liberators. And then I've got this amazing dude. So I have all the limited edition Stormcast models, and so a good old Barrack the Indomitable in my Liberator unit. He just fills out one of my Grand Hunters because he's actually not a champion. He is just a generic Liberator. He's not a prime. That's fair. Yeah. Swords are cool. There's a particular storm host that actually makes use of the storms and gets bonuses for having all the bladed weapons. So maybe that's something to look into, Jerome. So now I've just got to do the top of these two shields that I missed. I personally love the Stormcast helmets. I love the death masks. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, Jerome. Well, that's that. So might call it a night there, folks. Thank you everyone for coming along and chatting and hobbying and hanging out. Last thing we've got to do before we head off. So give me a sec. But yeah, gold, black, and red are just classic colors. Yeah, really do like them. I've seen the scheme you're talking about, Jerome. I like it a lot. So last thing we want to do is give a special shout out. End of every video, we got to do this to all the fantastic people that help support the channel via Patreon and YouTube members. And so thank you to James Crowder, Outer and Shot First, Kenny Lowe, AJC, Chaos Spawn, Soren, Philip Ward, James, and Christian Weir. Thank you all so much for helping support the channel, and thank you to Arnold before for the little donation. That was lovely. If you'd like to help support the channel, anyone watching, you can do so by following one of the links in the description. Anyway, enough self-promotion from me. Thank you all for hanging out, guys. It's been a ton of fun, and we'll be back doing another one of these again soon because it's been a great bit of fun. I've missed doing this, so we'll see you all again real soon. All right, have a good night, day, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Have a good time. Ciao for now, everyone, and keep fighting that war against the grey.